Yo, you hear me? I'm here. You hear me?
Can
You
you
hear
hear
me?
me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's going on, man? I
Wait,
can't complain.
let me use this microphone.
I love this, man. You got a whole you're doing you're like radio. So how do I pull this? I have
Oh, look, that
course.
is something. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
I'm ready.
So we're live. We're live. People are already looking
baby.
at
We live, baby. What's up? What's up? How you doing, man? How you been doing? I haven't seen you in like a while. 4 years.
I'm messing up all the graphics on here.
I mean, you got I think your background setting is better than mine. I'm just on the block.
Man, don't even trip. Don't even trip. So what's going on? So I should go first, or you should go first?
Whatever. I'm just walking in your world.
Yeah, man. So my world has been crazy. We've got.
I think everybody's world has been crazy with the whole entire pandemic, the Trump presidency, the all the crazy Asian hate,
right?
The George Floyd trial, which I think is kind of like taking a little too long than it should be taking.
I want to know. Well, I haven't. Yeah, what I want to hear about you. I want to hear about what's going on in your world. So let's step back. And last time we spoke, you were and I'm gonna get something because I'm a little jealous of the way you hooked up your hair. Because you know, I'm gonna follow your lead a little bit, do a little something, because my hair is indicative of how I'm feeling today. And you know, we're gonna do that.
We all been there.
Just, you know,
we all been there. We all been there.
So last time we spoke, you were interning at WBAI, I think.
Actually, you the one who put me onto it.
I was wondering about that.
You was the one who put me. You was the one that put me onto it. Because I remember. Because basically, what happened was I was at the open mic at Guttman, and we was just talking. Like I think one of my previous internships ended, and I was like, I'm trying to get another one. And you said WBAI is always looking for interns. Why don't you apply to them? So I said, I bet. So I applied to them, and the rest is history.
That's what happened.
Yeah, so I always gotta thank you. I don't know if I thanked you, but I gotta thank you for putting me onto that, because you kind of helped me like learn about like all the things. And if it wasn't for you, I would have never met AOC.
You met AOC?
I met AOC 4 years ago when I first interned at WBAI.
Oh,
so basically this is what happened. I was interning.
We haven't even talked about this. Yeah.
I was interning, and basically she little petite girl. She's walking in. I'm like, can I help you? Because she like looked nervous or something. And I thought she was an intern or something. So she's like, I'm here to see Gary Knoll. And then So she was like, I was like, Gary Knoll's not here right now. I said, are you interning for him? You know, she said, nah, I'm actually here for an interview. So I'm a comedian. Well, I'm not a comedian, but I think I am. So I was like, what you got to I was like, what, you got a mixtape dropping or something? Like, what do you? And she was like, no. She said, I wish I had a mixtape coming out, but nah, I don't have a mixtape coming out. So she was like, what was she said? She said that she got picked for Congress. This is when she just got picked for Congress. And she said she's just talking about that. And she said she's a part of the assembly for some parts of Queens and some parts of the Bronx. And I was like looking at her, I was like, you look like you my age. Like, what do you mean you doing all of that? And then so basically you and her basically kind of motivated me to get my stuff together. So I met AOC. I met AOC before she was, you know, who she is now. I mean, now it would probably be impossible to see it now, but back then it was like
she's around. I think she's a hot shot now. She's around. So then, what was it like? Well, okay. So then, what happened after that? Help me. So you interned there, and then you went on to what? Because I'm
okay. So you want me to give you the whole entire backstory about my whole career? And all that?
I want to know personally, and I think some people watching want to know too. But I actually want to know.
All right. So I'm gonna start from for the people that don't know. I'm gonna start from 2012 to now.
Great. I love
it. Okay. So for the people that don't know, I'm one of the first graduates of the new community college, aka Guttman Community College, class of 2014. I started in 2012 as the inaugural class. So that's how that happened. So that's how I met you. You know, you was what was your title? I don't even remember.
Oh, I was
you was the OG.
I was I began as a peer mentor program assistant.
Okay. So basically, yeah, you was the OG. You know, you was pretty young. We kind of looked up to you because we thought you was so cool. Because at first we thought that you was our age. We was like, oh, you know, he up there. He got status.
We are about the same age. You know that.
How old are you?
Let's not do that. Okay.
All right. So basically, hey, don't worry about it because I feel old too. Because I remember I got ID'd one time, right? Mm-hmm. And the dude didn't even look at the year. He just said he just saw the 19. So I was like, oh, we're at that point in life now. Because people born in the year 2000 are 21 now.
Right. Yeah.
So I started at Guttman. Yeah. I met you. You was the OG. We kind of looked up to you because we looked at what success can be because you're a young man and you're at a certain status, like you're in charge of people. So he's young. So we can't really have excuses because he's young as well and he's doing it. He's killing it, you know, with the poetry and help us as students. And also you was going to Hunter, right?
Yeah. I was at Hunter.
I remember you was going to Hunter. So we looked up to you. No, we probably didn't tell you that, but we looked up to you. I can tell you that 9 years later, we looked up to you because you were young, doing your thing. You was in college. So you was the definition of what we thought success could be, or even better. So that's how me and you met. Then I was a student at Guttman, and I always had aspirations of becoming something in the media. I always wanted to be like a media person. I always looked up to Larry King. I looked up to Howard Stern. I looked up to Angie Martinez. I looked up to Bill Bellamy, Daisy Fuentes, Big Les from Rap City, Big Tigger. So I looked up to those people growing up, you know, because they was always talking to the relevant people. So I wanted to be in the conversations with the relevant people. So I just looked up to those people. I used to just study them. I still study them to this day. So I still study them to this day. So basically, after that, I had a friend, you know, shout out to my friend Casper, who was Casper, who was also another student at Guttman College, Guttman Community College, aka the new community college. He was a student there, and he was working in the music industry. So I'm like, so he was like, yo, Mike, you always doing all this stuff with hip hop. Why don't you come intern with me? So I said, cool, no problem. I said, where do you intern at? He said, I intern at the Source magazine. For the people that don't know, the Source magazine used to be called the Bible of hip hop, you know, back in the early 2000s and the 90s. So it may has not been what it was back in the 90s, but that's still a thing I could put on my resume to say,
of course. Yeah.
So basically, he got me the internship there. That internship was kind of weird because I didn't get interviewed or nothing. So basically, Caps was like, hey, this is my friend Mikey. He does hip hop and he's involved in media. So they looked at me and they was like, all right, you can start now. Wow. I want you to look up information for Nas. I want you to look up information for Eve because we got an interview coming up with her. I was like, okay. So I sat down in the desk, and that's when I started my media career at the Source magazine in 2012 because of Casper. So I always thank Casper. Every time I see him, I always be like, yo, thank you because you got me into the industry. So
I didn't even know that. That's why we need to talk. Go ahead. Okay, so you're at Source.
Yes, at Source. I met a lot of
and at Guttman.
Yes, I was at Guttman and I was at Source. So I used to go to class and go straight to the Source magazine. The Source magazine was located on 43rd Street between 8th and 9th Avenue. So that's really like right down the block from Guttman, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
So I used to go to class. You know, my head was gassed because I was 17, 18 years old. My head was gassed. So I was telling all the girls, like, yeah, I'm at the Source magazine with Shop. You know what I mean? I'm breaking bread with T.I. I'm breaking bread with P. Diddy. You know, I saw DJ Khaled. You know what I mean? I held the door for DJ Khaled, and he didn't say thank you. You know, I'm out here.
Yeah, so you did all that.
So I used to go from Guttman straight to the Source magazine. I was doing that from 2000. I was doing that from December 2012 to May 2013.
Okay.
So I was working my way up, and yes, I was doing that as a student. So that was a pretty fun experience. You know, I got to meet celebrities. I got to study what they do. You know, how people interview. Because before I thought you just interview and just talk to them, but it's a whole entire process. So this is leading into my next internship. My next internship was at MS Communications, which was Hot 97, WBLS, and WLIB. WLIB is a gospel station that plays in New York, in the New York tri-state area. So so then I went from the Source magazine. I kind of outgrew that internship because I wanted more opportunity. So I went on to the MS Communications, which was WBLS, Hot 97, WLIB. That was kind of moving on to the big leagues. You know, I got to learn about the politics behind radio, because what's the number one thing somebody always says when they listen to radio? Why they play the same exact music all the time.
Right.
That's the number one thing. That's the number one thing somebody always says. So I learned why. And it's all about popularity. It's all about the demographic. The demographic for Hot 97 is from 18 to 25. That's the demographic. Or 17 to 25. That's the demographic. Okay. And so they're not going to really play Rhapsody when they really don't want to listen to the lyrical content. They want to just turn up. That's what young people want to do. They want to turn up. And at the time, so I was just learning. Then the WBLS demographic, which is actually kind of shocking, is 26 to 40. I was like, wow. Huh. Okay. I didn't know that. Yeah. So I was just learning about how to interview. This is how I learned how to interview. I thought you just talk to somebody on the air and go play songs. They was like, no, you gotta. It depends on the person. It's all about levels. She was Shayla, a legendary host on the radio. I don't know if you know her, Shayla. She was been on Kiss FM and WBLS for like 30, 40 years. She's a legend. She's like up there. I think she's a radio Hall of Famer, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay. She's interviewed Beyonce. So that should just tell you that. Yeah. Not a lot of people get to interview Beyonce, and she was one of them that did it. So So she taught me how the process of interviewing. And she's actually the first person that gave me my first airtime on the air. So she gave me a 2-minute segment. She said, Mike, I'm gonna give you your 2 minutes and you better say something. Right. I'm not gonna coach you how to do it. You better be ready. And so she taught me that. So she said, basically, if you don't know somebody, you gotta give a background. Who's this person? What does this person do? For the people that don't know, tell them. So that's how you interview somebody you don't know. But if you interview somebody like 50 Cent, you don't have to do that because everybody knows who 50 Cent is. Right. So she just told me about that. She said it's all about who you interview. If you interview somebody that's up to here, you can go straight to it. If you're interviewing somebody that's like on the come up, give them the information, give them the background setting of that person so the person can be attached and not change the station.
Right. Yeah, you got to hook them, right? Yeah.
Got to hook them. So Shayla, she was the first person that gave me my first airtime. She let me do a Chris Tucker impression on the air. So that was like my first time. And I was in competition because at the time I was 21. So I was in competition with like the listeners of hip hop trivia. So if I got the questions right, they won tickets. So I won every single time. It was the interns against each other. So I won every single time. So if I won, they got tickets to go see somebody. So that was kind of cool. So like they was like, oh, remember the lyrics. And so they try to like test my hip hop card. Like I didn't know hip hop. I'm like, so it was like the first thing they gave me was Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. It was like, don't push me. I'm like, really? Right. Come on. I'm young. Come on, son.
As you're talking, I'm noticing that we got all the Guttman crew or the new community college crew.
Oh, tell them I said what up. Tell them I said what up. What up? We out here. Yeah, so I just told them like and it was cool. And then the listeners started to like me. So I went from like, so they was like, oh, I like him. So basically I went from Mike the intern to Mike the programming assistant. I got promoted to a programming assistant, but they wasn't paying me. New York City was paying me. So, when you're a student during the summertime, they kind of give you like a job to gain experience.
Like SYEP or something?
Something like that. SYEP and stuff for college students.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was work study, but it was like stuff for college students that they do for like, so they wasn't paying me. The city was paying me. So it was like, they give you the same thing. Like, oh, we like you, but we really don't have a budget to give you a job. We like you. Basically, they're saying is like, you're too good to be an intern. Not saying I was too good. They were saying that you have too much experience to be an intern. Like you should be getting paid, but we just don't have the budget to pay you. So that's what they tell us, So I was like, I'll do anything, street team, anything. But they didn't have it.
Yeah, but you wanted the experience. So then you were all right. This is great. I didn't know any of this. So continue.
That's the point of the interview. But I met a lot of famous people there too. And I did 2 interviews. Well, no, I didn't do 2 interviews. I kind of prepared 2 interviews. I did the notes and looked up the information. There's an activist. His name is Mark Lamont Hill. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay. I know Mark Lamont Hill. I kind of did the cliff notes for the interview. So they're like, oh. Yeah, I did the cliff notes, and like Shayla, she looked at it. She was like, "I didn't even know this stuff." So basically, I did the cliff notes for him. I was like, "Oh, he's from Philly. He's from Philly. He was homeless in Atlanta.
Right.
He dropped out. He dropped out of school. He was sleeping in the train station in Atlanta, and then he just became an activist." So a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then Fantasia, another person I prepared. I did the cliff notes for. So I'm learning every single day about this, and. Yeah, Fantasia was cool. Fantasia was shocked that I was so young and I knew all this stuff about music. I'm like, this is what I do, baby.
It is what you do. It is what you do. I have vivid memories of hip hop battles and conversations in the atrium.
like basically, I don't know if you know who Nardwar is. My friends, they call me the Black Nardwar. Nardwar is basically, he's like the person that does interviews and he knows everything about them. And like the celebrity that he interviews, they'd be like, how do you know that? And he'd be like, we have to know, I'm interviewing you. So that's basically the mindset that I always bring in when I interview somebody, because everybody is somebody. Like that's another thing. Everybody is somebody. Just because that person isn't more relevant, everybody is somebody. Yeah. So that's the mindset I always bring in when I interview somebody. So then basically I left MS, I graduated college. And then I saw you at the
community college.
Yeah, no, I graduated Queens College.
Okay, so this is after.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, I was at the Source magazine for Guttman.
Then you left Guttman, and then you went to MS.
Went to Queens College, and I was at MS. So I was at Queens College and MS at the same time.
Gotcha.
So I graduate college. So then I saw you at the Guttman open mic. I always gotta go to the open mics. I was one of the first people to bless the Guttman open mic.
That's right. We started the Guttman open mic.
I was one of the first people. I was one of the first people to touch the Guttman open mic. So I always gotta show love to the Guttman open mic. So you told me so now we're putting everything in full circle. So then you told me about WBAI. You said WBAI is always looking for interns.
I remember now.
WBI is always looking for interns, and you should put your name in there. And I did that, and they looked at my resume. They was like, "Wow, you interned here. Okay, let's do it." And basically, I was kind of an intern when I first got to WBAI, and then I started interning for radio hosts and producers, and they liked my talent, and they was like, "You should." So basically, I was interning under 6 shows. I was one of the hardest working interns at WBAI. I was on the air 7 days a week, talking, doing everything. A show that I was a part of was on the air. So basically, a lot of the producers, they caught notice. They was like, "Yo, this person is worked so hard, and he's doing it for free." Yeah. So I'm like, this is what I want to do. I was working regular jobs too. I was working at Bloomingdale's. So I was working at regular jobs, working at after school programs with kids, but this is what I want to do. I want to be involved in the media. So I was like, like Malcolm X says, the X hat, by any means, by any means. So basically, there was a show on WBAI Wednesdays at 5 a.m. called Black Seinfeld, and they were like my age. So they was like, "Yo, Mike, you should rock with us. Forget being an intern. You should rock with us." And then my internship was actually ending at WBAI. So I was like, I'll rock with you guys. And the rest is history from there. So from 2018 to now, I'm still with them. But the pandemic kind of hit. So I was like thinking, I was like, you know what? I've absorbed all this information like a sponge. Maybe I should go independent and try to do something myself. And that's where the birth of Mikey Crump Radio. That's how Mikey Crump podcast came about, and the production company Broken Black Productions came about, Mikey Crump Entertainment, all that. So I was like, why beg these people for a job when we have social media and we have technology where I could do it myself? It may be harder. I don't know if you know a rapper. Is a rapper. His name is Cormega. I don't know if you know who Cormega is. Okay, Cormega is a rapper. He's a legendary rapper. He was a part of The Firm. He was a part of
How dare I?
He was a part of The Firm, but he left because he didn't like the contract. So he left The Firm. So basically he went independent. Right. And he says, if I'm a rapper, like having a major record deal is lit. You know, you sell 2 million, you get the big videos. But if you're an independent artist and you sell 20,000 copies, you have $200,000 in your pocket. Right. You don't have to split that with nobody because you did the work yourself. Right. So I kind of thought about, I was like, okay, I can go independent and just do the thing myself. It's going to be more hard work because I don't have like a program director or a EP to give me opportunities. It's going to be more hard. You know, you're going to have to email yourself. You're going to have to get people to want to do it, to believe in your dream, because they look at you like you're nobody. Yeah. They look at you like you're nobody. They're like, who is this kid? Mikey Crump, Broken Black Productions. Like, who? You ain't popping. You ain't The Breakfast Club. You're not Howard Stern. You're not Sway. You're not Big Boy. Like, I can go on like that. So it's a hard process, but I think I'm getting to where I want to be. You know.
What do you? So it's I've heard of people using like what's the online radio servers?
Which ones? A lot of them.
No,
Anchor, Last FM,
stuff like that. Yeah, which one are you using? What's the server that you're using?
Well, Mikey Crump Radio is available on all streaming platforms. It's on Apple. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. It's on Google Podcasts. It's on all of them. And just search Mikey Crump Radio on YouTube, on the internet, and it's up there. It's everywhere. It's on every streaming platform. Yeah. It's on every streaming platform. We got a new season coming out because I got a new microphone. You know,
I see. Is that the new one or no?
Yeah, it's the new one. I got a new microphone, so the audio is going to be better. So I'm kind of like I might want to start from scratch. There's certain episodes that I like that have the old microphone that I'm still going to use. Yeah, but I'm like starting from scratch. I'm getting better. My auntie tells me I'm getting better and better each episode. So I'm
sure you are, bro. I would leave it, man, just for like historical purposes and archival.
It's cringy, but I'm keeping it.
Nah, you got to keep it, man. I mean, I feel that way about some of my poems. You know, I'm like, you got to keep them. You know,
a lot of my old raps, I kind of like listen. I kind of like look at the writing. I'm like, I said that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. You said that. That's okay. That's all right. You said that back when you said it, and now you'll say something else. You know.
Yeah. You know they always say the more you breathe, the more you learn. So
there it is.
The more you breathe, the more you learn. So every day that God has blessed me to be on this earth, I learned something that I didn't know the day before. So that's all you know.
Yeah. Oh man. You dropping the knowledge and the wisdoms, man. That's what
I gotta do.
So help me understand. What do you do on Mikey Crump Radio? What do you talk about? What are you covering? I can make some assumptions.
We talk about everything, man. We talk about everything. We talk basically pop culture, politics, and sports. And yeah, that's it. Pop culture, politics, and sports, the three most important things in life that everybody talk about. Pop culture, politics, and sports, and racism. So it's four most important things that we talk about: pop culture, politics, sports, and racism. That's something that will never go out of style because it happens every single day. It happens every single day. Like, it doesn't matter how successful me and you get, the first thing they're gonna see is this. Mm-hmm. The first thing they're gonna see is that they're gonna see that I'm black. They don't care. They don't care. They judge you. They judge you off your color. That's why I always like. It doesn't matter how much success. Like Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the nation's first president, right? First black president. And Donald Trump said something stupid like in 2009, maybe 2010, when he said, "I got to see Barack Obama's birth certificate." Remember that? Remember that? Exactly. Yeah. You wouldn't as, and it's ironic. His wife was a former illegal immigrant. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, huh? Would you have said that if Barack Obama wasn't black? That's the question I ask. Racism always exists. And then you see with all the Asian hate that's going on now. They're getting the craziest hate right now with the coronavirus. Like people are coughing at them, people are killing them. You know, Jeremy Lin got called the coronavirus on the court because he's Asian American. It's ridiculous. Well, that's what I'm actually going to talk about on episode 8. Like I'm talking about the Asian hate. It's like the hate is just ridiculous. Yeah.
I saw you post something. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, the pop culture. You know, everybody knows about pop culture. Like we got to talk about it. We don't talk about gossip, but you got to talk about pop culture because it's called pop culture for a reason. Popular culture. Yeah. And politics is always going to be in this world. Like Jay-Z said, politics as usual. Everything isn't revolved around politics. You know, we got with the whole entire pandemic, with the whole entire politicians, we got Texas. Texas is was the first mask-free state in the United States. So in Texas, you don't have to walk around with a mask. They're doing 100% capacity. That's something that we have to talk about. Because it's like it's a question that you ask, like, are they stupid? Are they crazy? Like, what are you doing? Because if Texas is 100% open, everybody and their mother is going to be going to Houston. Everybody and their mother is going to be going to Club Onyx in Houston. You get what I'm saying? So that's because it's open. So that's going to cause a problem in our country because people are going to be going to Houston from everywhere. You know, because people are going to Miami for spring break. And that's not even 100% open. And people are going to Atlanta, and that's not 100% open. So imagine Texas, and Houston's not even that big of a city.
Right. Yeah. No, I think I saw a post of yours about DMX.
Oh yeah. You want the background story of that?
Yeah, I do.
We gotta pray for DMX. You're from Yonkers, right?
I mean, the whole city is heavy. The whole city is heavy right now.
That's like how Jay-Z is to Brooklyn.
We're very stressed. We're very stressed right now.
I'll tell you this. Like this is like a little off topic, but I'll tell you this. To me, I always say this. Westchester is more of a borough than Staten Island. I always say that. Let me tell you why.
Go, please.
Everybody goes to New Rock City. Shout out to New Road Show. Everybody goes to Cross County Mall in Yonkers.
Okay. I mean, all right. I'll take that. You
got to think about it. 4 of the most iconic hip hop people are from Yonkers. Jadakiss is from Yonkers. DMX is from Yonkers. Styles P is from Yonkers. Chic Luch is from Yonkers. And then let's not forget about the queen of hip hop soul, Mary J. Blige, from William Slow Bomb Projects in Yonkers.
Yeah. I mean, we know that. We know that out here.
So everybody, like, I never understood, like shout out to Staten. I love Staten now, but I'm saying like everybody
too late now, man. Everybody now. You're ready. You can't do that now. It's done.
Everybody always tries to discredit Yonkers because they be like, oh, that's not in the city. I'm like, Yonkers is one of the most poppin' cities in the United States. They have gave hip hop some of its biggest acts. And let's not even go. We can go even deeper to hip hop. We could talk about Aerosmith, Steven Tyler. He's from Yonkers. You know,
I forget. I'm talking to a musical researcher right now. We got
Steven Tyler. We bigger than hip hop, man. We gotta talk about Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Aerosmith, you can't write hip hop history without Aerosmith. You got to think about it. Run DMC, Aerosmith, Walk This Way.
Yo, would you you know, this is me being like Carlos, the person you used to know in Guttman, but are you thinking about like what's next? I just hear you. I'm a researcher, so I just hear you doing research in music. That's all. I guess that's all I wanted to say.
Well,
it's a thing, bro. There's a whole thing. There's ethnomusicologists. There's a whole thing.
There's a rap group called Nice and Smooth. I don't know if you know them.
Oh, yeah.
Greg Nice, Nice and Smooth, Nice and Smooth. No, they sung background on Bobby Brown's My Prerogative. A lot of people don't know that.
Can't say I did.
Nice and Smooth. They got a song called Hip Hop. They got a song called Hip Hop Junkies, and I think that's what I am. I'm a hip hop junkie. You know, I grew up in Brooklyn and I grew up in Manhattan. The reason why I say Manhattan is because I spent some time in Harlem and I spent some time in the LES. That's why I say Manhattan. You know, because usually people just say I'm from Harlem, but you gotta show love to the LES. You know what I mean? Lower East Side. So that's why I'm a hip hop junkie. I was just around it my whole entire life. You know, that's what my mother was bumping since I was a kid. Hip hop. My father, he's from New York too, but he loved the South. So when I was a kid, I was listening to Master P, Cash Money. Yeah. So and my mother, she's strictly Timberlands and white tees and do-rags. Like, she don't look like that, but that's what she is. My mother's strictly Mobb Deep, Styles P, Jadakiss, you know, Wu-Tang, Biggie, Jay-Z. That's all my mother listens to. So that's what I kind of sponged onto that. And then I kind of like blended that in with the modern stuff. So, and like I said, I'm from New York, so I still rap from time to time. So so I'm a hip hop junkie.
So I'm making music.
I wouldn't say that. The pandemic hit. The pandemic actually hit. I was actually gonna come out of retirement and like do like a compilation.
Retirement.
I haven't rapped in. I haven't rapped.
When did you retire? What are you talking about?
I retired in 2014. I retired in 2014. Definitely.
All right, respect. Okay.
I mean, I can still go toe to toe, but I still freestyle. I just haven't. I'm always like the freestyle person from the top of the head. I don't really write nothing down. So
I feel like I remember you and like Shaq,
my man Shaq,
maybe Casper. Doing some, not Casper. It was definitely you and Shaq.
Me and Shaq was the dynamic duo. We was like
you had an album together.
Nah, we just freestyled together. We did like okay, all right. So let me basically translate. Obviously, you know who DJ Clue is.
Yeah, of course.
You're from New York. You gotta know who DJ Clue is. So you know how DJ Clue had to
like 2004 NBA Live. Like DJ Clue was crazy on that.
It was actually 2003. Fabulous.
2003 was that what it was? Yeah. Anyway.
So basically, me and Shaq, we had like we would just freestyle over like rap beats and we just put them out. So we did the Clue tapes that he did in like 99. We would just freestyle over like the hot 90s rap beats. So we never made an album, but we used to like freestyle. Like I kind of remember my first one. I was like, every time I spit a verse is a nightmare because I got dudes pissing their drawers in they sleep every time I come out here. You heard the style, so I heard you retiring. Don't be mad I heard that Mickey D's is hiring. You're not about a lifestyle, so you better stick to foot. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? I remember that.
I wasn't going to stop. I was just trying to find some music I should put on.
You're not about that lifestyle, so you better stick to flipping burgers because ain't no way you fucking with the greatest rapper that you ever heard of. And if you try to come at me, that's one body's 2 bodies, 3 bodies, 4. And if you get your little mans on me, that's another body more. Like I remember that. That was like one of the first freestyles me and Shaq did back in the day.
That was one in 2012. Yeah. Before retirement.
Yeah, retirement. I got friends. They always try to talk me out of coming out of retirement. They be like, yo, Mike, you should just do one for the culture. Just one. Cause like I never really like put together like a song because it was just everything was just from the top of the dome and just freestyling. Yeah. So
I feel like there's something to that, man. There's something to that way of expressing that doesn't need to be an album. It doesn't need to be packaged up or like edited or any of that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think you should. I support your little birdies in your ear telling you to come back out of retirement. You know, like especially
if the people's listening, let me hear what they want to say. If they like it, I'm gonna drop something.
we got a lot of hand claps and
who hand claps?
Our favorite friend from Guttman, Toya.
Shout out to
Toya. But yeah. Anyway, so this is great, bro. I'm glad that we got to connect because I've been wondering how you've been. You know,
And for the people listening, I want to shout y'all out for reaching out to me when I was going through like my situation and stuff like that. So I'm gonna give them a shout out. And like I said, the reason why the episodes have been delayed was because all the internal stuff that was going on within the family, in the family structure. Yeah. So we're working on that, but we coming hard. We got some things coming. Like I said, I always say I'm Mikey Crump. I'm an entertainer. I'm everything. Rapper, actor, podcaster, and producer. And we got some things coming. I got some scripts I wrote. So we got some things coming. I'm talking to my man Bobby. You remember Bobby?
Of course I remember Bobby. You don't even know my stories with Bobby, man. You don't even know. It's so much.
Bobby's my dog. Me and him is from the same club. We're from the East New York, Brownsville area. So he's right down the street, and he's right down the street from me. So he's doing acting. That's another person I look up to. I look up to you, and I look up to him too, because he was 19, 20 years old doing that. You know what I'm saying? And I was I was a sponge. I was like, okay, he did it like that. He did it like that. So basically, I wrote the scripts, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use him as my consultant because he's done this. If you're listening, stream his web series, The Av, on Amazon. It's on Amazon, and I think he has another thing on Pluto. He actually was a guest on my podcast. I'm gonna release that episode soon.
Yeah, he I think his show just got translated into like 36 different languages and countries.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So I was actually at it's crazy. I have another hat under the umbrella. I was the DJ for his premiere. I was the DJ for it.
I
was a DJ for it.
Mikey of trades.
I remember that day too, because it was me and Shaq. We pulled up, and the music was whack at the thing. So I was like, "Yo, let me do my thing. Let me do my thing, man." He was like, "All right," because it was at a club in Soho. So I was like, "Let me do my thing, bro," because this music is trash. So I kind of took that over.
Oh man, but you keep saying, I just appreciate your humility because you keep saying that you look up to other people. I think that's a wise and humble thing. But
I look at it like this.
People also. I just want to say, like, I'm listening to your story and I'm like, I'm inspired, bro, because you some people say they move in silence, and I think you really I think you're doing that. You're exemplifying that in a really strong way. Like you're showing us, like, you don't have to. I mean, you were showing off some of the source stuff back when you were 19, but like that's a different kind of.
No, 17.
but I didn't know, right? And so you weren't telling everybody that. You were being selective still. But it's not like you were running around like, look at me.
It's crazy though. It's crazy though. I move in silence with my family. My mom's like, "You got a podcast out?" I was like, "Yeah," because basically I look at it like this. You put in the work, you do what you do behind the closed doors, and when the other people start talking, that's when you claim what's yours. That's I always believe that if you have to talk about it, you're not really doing nothing. Because if you're doing something, other people are going to talk about it. You get what I'm saying? It's like with LeBron James. Like LeBron James, he's a basketball player. Like he don't say it. People talk about LeBron for LeBron. You know what I mean? Same thing with Michael Jordan. Same thing with Jay-Z. The only successful superstar that's like iconic that talks about himself is like Kagi is Cameron. That's the only like superstar that does it. Like Cameron, like, and he's iconic. He had everybody wearing pink.
Yeah, I know. Like, I think he was up in White Plains yesterday because the Rough Riders were out by the because DMX is in the hospital up in White Plains.
Yeah, he's in White Plains Hospital. Yeah. Got my ears to the streets. They actually put his prayer. You know how DMX does the prayer interlude on his album.
Yeah.
You know, and they had that on like a boom, like a speaker in the whole entire hospital. It's unfortunate. So, yeah, we're going around. So let me talk about DMX situation. How I met DMX. How the picture came.
Yeah, tell me. Tell me.
So since we're on live, I might as well like show the picture, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. So for the people that don't know what we're talking about,
my friend Philip said that Kanye talks about himself too.
Oh yeah, Kanye is another iconic person that talks about himself.
He talks about himself. I love. Yeah, you were like a baby, man. You were like what, 7? How old were you?
No, I was younger than that. This was okay.
Man.
So I'll tell you the whole entire story. I actually remember this. So my other grandmother who passed away, God bless the dead. Shout out to Jenny Crump, my grandma. She passed away in 2014. So we went. She moved down south. She was living in Queens and she moved down south. So this was 99. Inspector Gadget just came out. So this is the summer. So this is the summer of 99. You know, there was a boy group named, I think they was called Youngstown. They had like the #1 song in the world because they was on the Inspector Gadget soundtrack. So it was a boy group called Youngstown. Like if you heard this song, but you probably don't know the people, but you heard the song. So this is 99, summer of 99.
Yeah, we heard this song.
Yeah, exactly. You heard the song. So it's the summer of 99. Inspector Gadget just came out. I was just about to start kindergarten. So I was with my father. God bless the dead. My father died too. So God bless the dead. You know, I really don't have a lot of memories of my father as a kid, but this was one of the best ones. Okay, so this is the first time I'm ever going on a plane, going on the airport and everything. So I'm like 4 or 5 years old. I'm 4 years old. I didn't even turn 5 yet.
Okay.
So maybe I did. No, I was 4. Was I? Yes, I was 4. Okay. So I don't remember. I gotta remember the outfit. Okay, I had the Michael Jordan. I bought my Michael Jordan jersey with me because Michael Jordan is my idol because of Space Jam. I had my NWO book bag. Come on, everybody was representing the NWO. Shout out to Hulk Hogan, the guitar. What else? I just try to remember.
Take your time. There's no rush. I
gotta remember what I had with me. Okay,
I'm grateful to hear this story, bro. Yeah.
I had the NWO book bag. I had obviously I'm from New York, so I had to have the Yankee hat. So I was
the Yankees because
no, we don't like the Mets. All right, so we had the Yankee. I had the Yankee hat. I think it wasn't a fitted because my head was too small for a fitted. They didn't make fitteds for kids back.
Yeah, you were a little,
it was a snapback. So I had the Yankee hat. Everywhere I went, I had my Michael Jordan jersey with me, and there was another memorable thing with it. There was a basketball player named Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones had his first signature sneaker with the Jordan brand. I remember buying those sneakers because when I was a kid, I actually liked Eddie Jones. So my mother bought me the Eddie Jones Jordans back in the day. So this is I just remember this. So basically my mother, I go to Harlem, go with my pops, and we go to the airport. We make 2 stops. We go from New York to Houston to New Orleans. No, the Baton Rouge. Okay, so Houston. So we're in the airport. We're in New York airport. We fly. We're at our rest stop. This is DMX. I didn't put 2 and 2 together because when you're 4 years old, you just see people on TV, you think they live in TV.
Yeah.
So my father actually wanted a picture with DMX, but this is what he told me before he left Earth. He said he didn't want to feel like a groupie, so he made me take the picture so he could keep it.
He's like, my son wants a picture with you.
so basically, this is what happened. DMX had a cigarette and a beer with him. So this is back in the 90s. You could still smoke in the public in New York.
Maybe.
No, because Bloomberg, he made the law in 2004. Because in 99 you could do that. So Bloomberg made the law. So basically, DMX, he had a cigarette and had a beer. I guess he was waiting for his flight. He was watching TV. So my father came up to him and made small talk with him. He was like, "Yo, you know what I mean? My son is one of your biggest fans." And then he said, "Yo," be honored. And then he just said, "Yo, I'll be honored if you take a picture with my son." And then DMX, he said, I just remember his voice. He's like, "Hey, you got a camera? You got a camera? I'll do it. No doubt. You got a camera?"
Oh man.
He said, no problem. You got a camera? You know what I mean? I love kids, you know what I mean? I love kids. I just remember that. So then the picture was birth. And yeah, and then he kept that picture. I actually didn't get the picture until he died. He kept that picture. He cherished that picture for the rest of his life. He was like, he told everybody. Like, I remember we went to church. I think it was Easter of 2000. He was like, look, because my aunt is actually, one of my aunts is a pastor. So we went to her church. I think it was Easter. One of them, it was Easter. So he's like, yeah. He's like, yo, mom. And then like all my older cousins like, yo, you met the dog. He's like, yeah, man. My son took the pic. So that was like one of the things he kept with him forever. He was like, he kept that in his pocket.
Yeah.
And then another joke, when I say it in my pocket, another joke. This is off topic. I was born prematurely, so I was in my mother's belly. I was in my mother's belly for 6 months. I wasn't in there for 9. I was in there for 6. And my father used to always joke. He said that I was so small that I can put him. He didn't need to take pictures of me because he could put me in his pocket. That's how small I was when I was premature. That was his mom. So that's another thing. So yeah. So basically, like I said, DMX. I met DMX, and I'll never, because that was the first time I went on an airplane in my life, and I wasn't scared. That was the crazy thing about it. I wasn't scared.
Oh yeah.
So I just remember, when you're a little kid, you go on a plane, the flight attendant takes you around to meet the pilot.
Oh yeah, that was cool because it's like, you can
it's his first time on a plane. He's 4 years old, and I remember the pilot gave me wings. He gave me wings. Yes, like a what's some things? But yeah, a pin. A pin. Yeah, he gave me wings as a pin. Yes, I remember that.
So cool.
And then actually, the first Star Wars episode came out too. The first Star Wars episode came out.
Yeah.
The first Star Wars episode came out back then too. And I remember the Pepsi bottles, and they had the little boy that was on Star Wars that I turned older. And I was like, he's a little kid and he's on television. So actually, if we're going to put this all in full circle again, he's the reason why I believe that I could be somebody, because he was on a Pepsi can, the kid from Star Wars.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's crazy how like that stuff comes together.
Yeah, he was the first one, because you don't really think about kids on television. Like when you was a kid, you thought about Martin, the Fresh Prince, even Steve Urkel and Family Matters, the Steve Harvey Show. You didn't see little kids on TV. Like, you saw little kids, but they weren't like in no main roles. They were just little kids.
They were being little kids.
Except for Michelle from Full House. And I'm like, I'm not a white girl, so I'm like, they wouldn't want me on television.
So I was not gonna cut it.
So basically, he was the kid from Star Wars. Obviously, you watched Star Wars before. If you didn't,
I mean, don't be obvious. I'm just trying to find the Pepsi image.
It was the little kid from Star Wars. I forgot his name because I'm not really a Star Wars fan. But it was the little kid from Star Wars.
I think I see the picture here.
And he was on the can of Pepsi. And that was the first. And I was like, I saw him. I thought he looked like a little kid. I'm like, whoa, he's on television. And I'm like, I can do that too. So he was actually one of the first people I looked up to.
I'm gonna see if I can share my screen.
Yeah.
See if we can get that image up.
Oh yeah, and Pepsi 1 first came out too. So I just remember this is like, I remember, the little, that's the kid right there. The kid right there. I was 4 or 5 years old. That was the first time I saw, like I said, that was the first time I saw a kid in a main role, because he was in a main role in Star Wars.
I don't. It escapes me.
Yeah. So I was like, wow. So that's somebody I looked up to.
Well, that, and then you got to meet DMX in person.
I got the first time I went on an airplane was iconic. I met DMX. I went to.
You got wings.
I got wings. I got wings from a pilot. My grandma got me gummy bears. Not gummy bears. She got me a candy lizard. My grandma got me a candy lizard.
I love this.
I went to McDonald's and got the Inspector Gadget. I didn't get the Inspector Gadget toy. I was kind of sad about that. But I went to McDonald's at the Inspector Gadget, because Inspector Gadget first came out in the theaters, and I met my little cousin, who was actually just born. He's like a couple of months. He's probably like 3 months old. So like now he's 21. He's bigger than me now. So I'm like, that goes in a full circle. So
that was in Louisiana.
Yep, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My grandma first moved out there. My grandpa moved down there 2 years later. He died too. God bless the dead. He moved out there 2 years later. In 2001, he moved to the country. Actually, me going to his house in 2014 was the first time I actually went to the country. So
Okay.
I was scared.
wait, come on. Now you got to talk about this. So 2013. This is what, a summer between Guttman.
2014. I just graduated. No, because you remember we graduated in 2014, and the graduation was in August. Weird. It was weird. Yeah. Okay, we ended it. Yeah. I don't know if Toya's still watching. Like, this is weird. Rebecca, shout out to Toya. Shout out to Rebecca. Shout out to
they all there.
Shout out to Scott. Shout out to Carla Fuller. Shout out to Dr. Tyner. Dr. Tyner was iconic too because her picture, Dr. Tyner's picture was in the train station.
I don't remember. Maybe I do remember that now that you say it.
Dr. Tyner's picture was in the train station. Word. So every time I'm on the train, I'm like, I see the woman that gave me an A-. She was iconic too. Because like I said, she was in the train and she told me that she went to middle school with Cameron. So I was like amazed by her. I was like, wait, you went to middle school with Cameron? Shout out to Professor Ariana Stokes. Shout out to Ariana Stokes. Shout out to Katie Wilson. Shout out to all of them. Word. So So basically, Claire King. Shout out to Claire King too. I ain't forget about you. And then shout out to the other guy I looked up to, Randolph Moore. Randy.
Yeah, Randy
Moore.
He was your SSA?
Yes, he definitely was. Oh. That was also a good look too. Shout out to Giovanni too. But that was also a good look because he wants, like, somebody like you was a person of color that was successful. And you was doing something positive with your life. And then he's the same thing. He was black, he was big, he had, he always had the nice suits. He knew about hip hop culture, but he was always professional. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm like, this is somebody that I can look up to also because he's showing me what success can be. And I can do that or go to the next level. But he was somebody that I looked, I was like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. Not saying that like what he's doing is easy, but if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. So no, that's the whole point.
Like, a lot of people that went to Guttman, they come from, not really the best backgrounds, not really the best neighborhoods. And so people that were older, we really didn't see a lot of positive examples of that. So going to Guttman was actually like, wow, we got Carlos, we got Giovanni, we got Randy, we got Professor Allen, Marcus Allen. I remember. We got Professor Marcus Allen. You know what I'm saying? So it was always people that we can just look, positive black men that we looked up to. So I gotta salute you guys. And y'all always was hard on me. If I wasn't on my thing, you'd be like, yo, Mikey, what's up? You got a chance to be the first inaugural graduate of Guttman. And you playing? Like, what are you doing? Go to class. Do your thing. Like, what are you doing? You you're smart. You should not be playing. You smart. So,
it's true.
So Guttman was just so iconic to me because it was just an opportunity that I couldn't take away. I couldn't take away from going there because who doesn't want to be a part of history? You get what I'm saying? 100 years from now, they're gonna have my graduation mugshot in Guttman.
They better.
They're gonna have it. They're gonna like the first class. They're gonna see Mikey Crump. I'm in my opinion, top 5 worst pictures of all time.
I gotta find it. I know I got the brochure around here.
I'll look at that picture. First of all, what's going on, Guttman? Yeah, we didn't even. I thought we was gonna get like little cap and gown and stuff and take the picture. So
it was the first time we did it, man.
I'm in my bag now, son. Nah, but so I remember I was working at the Intrepid Museum.
Yo, you did everything, dude. What were you doing at the Intrepid Museum? Talk to me about that.
I worked there. That was
a cool job.
Yeah, that was a cool job. Let me tell you this. Source Magazine, Guttman. Intrepid Museum, Guttman. All of this, I was still going to Guttman.
That's why we were like, yo, you better, get to class because
the Intrepid Museum. I used to tell them I have class, so they used to let me leave early. So
that's good.
The M42 was a bus that went from the Intrepid Museum straight to Bryant Park. So I used to just take that bus straight.
Yeah,
but during rush hour, during like afternoon rush hour, it was impossible to go.
You might as well walk.
Yeah, you might as well walk, like to go from 42nd Street, go straight down 42nd Street and make a right to 12th Avenue. Like that's impossible. Yeah. So even if I took the bus, it was like impossible. So I'm kind of like, I always joke with my mother, I'm kind of envious that the fact that Hudson Yards exists now, the train station. Man. So I used to be like, yo, I could have just went to Hudson Yards and then took the train to Bryant Park. You get what I'm saying?
Hudson Yards is fancy. But you were saying after Guttman, you went to the country for the first time in your life. I got to hear that story before we break. We got like 5 minutes now. I just want to hear that. And then
Okay, 5 minutes. So 5 minutes. So basically, I was in the country. So my grandmother was actually in hospice. So my grandma was in hospice. I was actually in Queens College. I just started Queens College. I was probably like Queens College, like 2 weeks into Queens College. My grandma was in hospice. So I was in class. So my aunt was like, yo, I don't know how much time your grandma got left. You got to come down here. Mm-hmm. Like, I ain't really got no money. But I did have money. But, I was like, I said, I want to get these Jordans. But then she was like, Mike, your grandma's in hospice.
Okay, get these Jordans.
I was like,
That's real. Okay.
It's real. No, but she didn't say she was in hospice at first. She just said you got to come see your grandma. So my mom like, I could go see her during the break.
Right.
Like I could see her during the break. And the thing about the thing about Queens College that was like different than Guttman. Queens College, they had the winter break was like a month. Right. Compared to Guttman had fall 1, fall 2, spring 1, and spring 2.
Yeah, right.
While all my other friends were running around being fast, I was in Guttman.
You were in Guttman doing the equivalent of a winter semester in the fall.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm talking about spring too. That too.
Summer semester.
I was like everybody running around. I'm in sociology with Professor Wilson. I'm like, yeah. Karl Marx. I said, and I see like the people running around Bryant Park. I'm like, yeah, Karl Marx, conflict theory. I know, yeah.
Come on.
Looking at Bryant Park, the press, like, okay, all right. So basically, my aunt was like, yo, I was like, I want to get these Jordans. I'll go see her during the break. And then she's like, your grandma's in hospice. So okay, I'm not gonna act like I'm a genius. So I looked that up what that meant. I'm like, what does that mean?
Sure, yeah.
So I looked up what that meant, and I was like, oh, I gotta go. I told my mom, I was like, yo, mom, I'm going to South Carolina. I'm going to Baton Rouge, Louisiana to go visit my grandma because she's in hospice. And I called my other grandma and told her the same thing. She's like, yeah, go. I was like, because I didn't really know how to book a flight at that time. So I sent my mother the money. I said, yo, book me a flight, round trip flight. I'm going to go. But it's ironic. It kind of went into full circle because Columbus Day was on Monday. So there's no school. So I was like, okay, I can go. So I went on Thursday. Came back on Tuesday. Yeah. So basically, I went to the Baton Rouge airport. This is the first time I went to an airport by myself. So I was 18, 19. So it was the first time I went by myself. I usually go with my mother or my grandmother. It's the first time I went by myself. So I'm like, I gotta check a bag. Like, what's going on? They was like, would you like to check a bag? I'm like, no. So they was like, you sure you don't want to check your bag? I was like, no. So I look stupid. I got this big gigantic suitcase with like 8 pairs of sneakers in it. And I'm a sneakerhead. So I'm staying for like 8 days with all this stuff. Like a big gigantic suit. I'm carrying them, struggling, and I barely made my flight because I didn't know. I'm thinking the airplane is like the Metro North. Like I'm thinking like, oh, if something comes at 11 o'clock, you got to get there at 11 o'clock. No, Mikey, you got to get there 45 minutes before.
Yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours.
Yeah, so I'm cool. I'm thinking I'm cool. You know what I mean? I'm thinking I'm cool. Like I'm gonna get there at 11 o'clock on the dot. I got there a little early. Unless I might go get a Snickers or something. They was like flight 45 to Houston, Texas is leaving. I'm like, I looked at my thing. I was like, that's my flight. So I'm running through the airport, trying to get to. So I got there. So I flew to
Amazing.
Houston, then Baton Rouge Airport is small. You know, usually when people go to Baton Rouge, they go to New Orleans and then they just drive to Baton Rouge. But it's like when you think about it, it's like a 45-minute drive. It's like an hour, 45-minute drive. So it's like you might as well just go do the extra and go to Baton Rouge. Pay the extra $40 to go to Baton Rouge because it's closer to it's in Baton Rouge and it's 5 minutes away from all my family members' houses instead of having to have somebody come all the way from New Orleans. So let me translate it in New York terms. Okay.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So it's like if instead of flying to LaGuardia, I'm gonna go to freaking to I ain't gonna say not even Newark. Newark's not that far. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Philly
and then drive over. That don't make no sense.
Philly and drive over, or Westchester's not that far.
Westchester's kind of close.
The next one, they got an airport near over the Tappan Zee Bridge. I guess that one.
That's Westchester County Airport, no?
No, there's another airport that's further up from.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll look into that.
Yeah, or Albany's too far, but yeah, like something like that.
Philly.
Yeah, Philly's perfect. So I get there. So I'm thinking like everything down south is just the country. So she's like, "Oh yeah, we in the city. We gonna go to the country to see your grandpa." So I was like, "Yo, let's go see my grandma first." Because I'm like, "Yo, you she in hospice?" I'm like, "I gotta go see her." So I saw her. Let me tell you, she was shocked. After this, I got a story about my grandpa when he died. This is actually, it's not funny, but it's all right. So my grandma, like, she looked at me. She was just like, "Wow, Mikey's here to see me." Because, you know, the last time I saw her was at my father's funeral. So it was like, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't really happy. And then now it's not happy more because she's sick. So I saw her. So then she said, "Okay, we saw your grandma. Now we're going to go to the country." This is the first time I saw a deer. I saw a deer.
You gotta come to Yonkers, bro. We got deer right up here, man. What's up?
Yeah. The furthest I mean, I've been to Yonkers before, but the furthest you
can be here without seeing deer, though.
Yeah, Cross County Mall. Like I don't really see.
I don't find no deer in Cross County.
I don't see no deer at Cross County Mall. So and the furthest I've really gone up in Westchester, like New Rochelle, Yonkers, Mount Vernon.
I get it. I'm messing with you. I get it. So go ahead. The first time you saw a deer was the South. You were just freaking out.
The first time I saw a deer, I was like, "That's a deer. That's Bambi. What the heck? What's going on?" And then like people were like driving past it. I'm like, "That's a deer."
Right. Stop. Yeah.
I saw a deer. I saw a possum. I'm like, "Where am I?" And then we're driving over the bridge. Yeah. So we're in the city. The Baton Rouge is the city. I thought Baton Rouge was country because Baton Rouge is country to me. So
yeah, sure.
We driving over the bridge to go to Port Allen. Port Allen is a city, but it's getting a little more country. Then we're driving further up. Well, further up. We're driving further west. It's getting a little. You're seeing less houses and more of just nothing, of just woods. Yeah. Just woods. I'm like, okay, we in the woods. And then there's no more street lights. There's no more street lights, no more street signs. Now it's just driving. So now I'm getting kind of scared because I've never really been in the country before. So then we making a right. And then this is a sad thing to say. We was actually in a slave. We drove past a slave plantation. Mm-hmm. We drove past a slave plantation in there was a sugar cane. It was either tobacco or sugar cane. No, it was tobacco. Okay. No, it was sugarcane. North Carolina was tobacco. North Carolina was tobacco, and this was sugarcane. So, because when you drive in the morning, you could smell the sugar, the natural sugar. So this was a slave plantation. So I was traumatized. I'm like, yo, in 1860 something, my ancestors was here, you know, being slaves. So I was kind of like in a state of shock. And then we finally go to my grandpa's house, like with no street lights and nothing. And then I come to find out my grandpa lives on Crump Street.
Oh. Yeah.
So this is I thought we was in Maringouin, Louisiana. It's in the country. There's only a supermarket and a post office. That's all there is. And let me tell you how small their zip code is. Their zip code is basically their whole entire zip code is like Bryant Park. That's their whole city.
Is that Bryant Park?
I'm not lying.
I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just chuckling.
Their whole city is from Guttman to across the street to the Chipotle, across the park to the Chipotle.
He said to the Chipotle.
That's their whole city. That's their whole city. I was like, where's the rest of the city? They say, this is it. I'm like, okay. So everybody in my family lives there. So we on Crump Street. All my family lives there. Crump Street. My uncles, my grandpa.
That's crazy.
Crump Street. And then there's a club named after it called Club Crump, which is actually turned into a house that my cousin is living in now. But that's how country it is. So yeah. So my family they always joke with me because my grandpa died. So I own like a percentage of the house. I'm like, I'm not living out here. There's nothing to do.
Yo, it's your street, bro. It's called.
It is. Yeah, I actually took a picture in front of it. Let me see if I still got the picture. Yeah. Let me see if I still got the picture. I was on.
And then we got to go because it's after time. Obviously, we got to do this again. You know.
Of course. Let me see.
So we can add photos. Rebecca says Mikey's shining bright.
Well, Rebecca, shout out to Rebecca. I already said shout out to Rebecca, but yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that's the
conversation.
Scott E.
Yeah, Evan Beck. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, shout out to Scott Evan Beck. He the Vince McMahon of Guttman, man. He's the OG. that's the. You know what I mean? Every time he sees me, he smiles. So I think I'm doing something right. You know, he likes me.
Yeah, you're doing a lot right, bro. You're doing a lot right.
I'm trying to see if I can see this picture. If Club Crump, I was on Crump Street. I took a selfie in front of it because I made a joke about it. I was like, yeah, I'm broke, but not all y'all got to pick a street named after y'all. So
word, not many people do. Well, actually,
that's a lot.
Of people like us. Not many people like us do.
Crump Street. Well, it's two Crump. There's a Crump Street where my grandpa lived at, and there's a Crump Road in Pennsylvania. My grandma took a picture of it. So it's very rare to see somebody with my last name. So, you know, it's kind of cool. I'm trying to see.
I love
Crump.
it.
Yeah. Oh, here you go.
Look, I want to. Here you go. Got it? Wait, the other way. The other way. Oh, I love that picture. That's on your Instagram. Oh man, I'm gonna dig that up. Okay, I gotta check that out. I love that.
Crump Street. Facts.
Oh man, that's a good way to end this, man. But look, I think it sounds like you got some stories that maybe we should reconvene and try to listen to.
Of course.
But
I appreciate you for having me. This is an honor. You know, somebody that I looked up to, you know, being a student at Guttman is actually inviting me on his platform. It's like, wow, like I must be doing something right for you to be relevant enough to come on this show. So I got to keep on.
You have infinite humility, dude, and I respect that.
I gotta keep on doing things to make me you want to. I gotta keep on doing things to make you want to come for me to come back.
Word. So I
gotta keep on doing more things.
Yes.
I gotta do more things for you to invite me back. There we go.
Yes, right on. I'm gonna hold you to that. Then you better do some cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm not hard to find. My name is not Waldo. My name is Mikey, so I'm not hard to find.
Not many crumps. All right, I'm gonna say bye to the peoples, and then we can stay on for a second just to chop it up a little bit. But
no doubt.
Thank everybody for joining.
Peace out, people. Thank you for listening.